Hey guys, it's Will with Terrible Infant. We got a mega Blu-ray haul to show off to you here. This is gonna be fun. Awesome fucking movies, awesome additions. If you feel like subscribing, you can hit that red button and you can give us some likes or unlikes or whatever you feel like doing, and leave some comments if you feel like it. If you have these movies, you have strong opinions about these movies. If you want to see us talk about other movies in the future, let us know. And then the other thing I'll tell you before we get into this is we have a new show coming. It's going to be called First Watch. So it'll be kind of like the first listen segment that we do, but instead of being about music, it's going to be about movies. So it'll be me and it'll be Mike. Probably like Logan, maybe Jim, some of the other people that you've seen on the channel. We'll be watching these movies together. Some of them are movies some of us have seen, some of them are movies none of us have seen. And then we'll just kind of like give our honest reaction, have like a conversation afterwards. It should be really fun. So we're looking to digging into that. And actually one of the reasons that we bought this big haul is that so we would have kind of like a supply to start feeding this new series that we're going to be doing. So what do we have here? There's like this is like kind of haphazard pile, so we're just going to go through it. So we have the MVD Rewind Collection release of Nemesis. So I saw Nemesis on VHS, I think, and I think this came out in 93, 92, 93, so I was like 9 or 10 years old, and someone had this on VHS, and it's like a cyberpunk kind of thing. I think it was too much for my young brain to process, but obviously I liked action movies and like I was into like Terminator and the stuff that was coming out then, so I dug it, but I also didn't fully process it. And I saw this, and so MVD, I have to give a shout out to MVD because I first came across this company when they were putting out Van Damme movies. So they put out like Cyborg, and they're like looking at these movies that I think other DVD or Blu-ray manufacturers would kind of pass over in favor of more well-known titles. But these are movies that I think were really big with a certain crowd of people when they were kids because they had the VHS and they loved those genre movies. And when you're a kid, you're not thinking like Cyborg, for instance, is, you know, from the point of view of an adult who went to film school, Cyborg is not a good movie, right? But it's really, really fun because it's so ridiculous. And if you were a kid and you saw that movie, you're not thinking about the film school aspect of why it's not good or like the adult rationale of like, what is the motivation of this character? You're just like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. It's like post-apocalyptic, it's Van Damme whooping the shit out of people. There may or may not be a cyborg. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But I really appreciate the fact that there's a company that is making these really, really nice editions of these movies that I think a lot of people might not pay attention to. You know what I mean? Because there is a generation of people who watch these movies on VHS as kids and really like prizes these as possessions. This is the double the dual format too. It looks like DVD and Blu-ray. So fuck yeah. So that's awesome. So we're definitely going to do an episode of First Watch on this. Something to look forward to. This just is like so ridiculous that you can't say no to it, right? It's called Raven with Burt Reynolds. I have not seen this film before. But I'm really excited about it. Academy Award nominee Burt Reynolds is the leader of an elite mercenary team called Raven on a deadly mission to obtain a powerful Soviet satellite decoder. I don't need anything else in the world to sell me on this movie. I'm already sold. This came out in 96 too, so this is like probably one of those 90s action movies. Maybe it went straight to VHS. Maybe you saw it at Blockbuster. But 90s action movies are badass, right? So, Sheborg, I have to read you. When I read this, I was like, yes, that one is going in the cart. An alien fugitive crash lands on Earth and begins turning people into cyborgs that feed on animal flesh. Dylan and her best friend Eddie have to team up to stop the Sheborg before the whole town is assimilated into monstrous machines of destruction. And the review on here is just as crazy as the title suggests. And this is a more recent film, 2016. So it's got like this totally 80s, like, it looks like hand-drawn or hand-painted artwork. But, it's more recent, but I mean, come on. Like, what? Just like thinking about why would a cyborg, or I guess a Sheborg, eat an animal? And how is it the cyborg eating an animal any different than a person eating an animal? It's just like, it just gets me excited about what's happening in here. Like, are they eating live cows? I don't know. We'll see. And then you can watch our episode of First Watch on it. And then you can be like, hey, I heard about Sheborg, and now I know the real dates. All right. Where else to go from there? Pet Shop. Perhaps you'll remember this one. I think this came out in 93. 1993. Yeah. So here's a fun little fact for you. From Moonbeam Entertainment comes this completely crazy and totally twisted family film classic. Pet Shop tells the wacky, way-out tale of a pair of alien fiends disguised as over-the-top cowboys who touch down in an Arizona desert town of Cactus Flats and immediately buy a run-down pet store. Their mission? To lure local children with promises of cuddly companions and then eat them for dinner. Cha-ching! Again, it's like with the Burt Reynolds movie. I don't need to know anything else about this movie. I'm gonna watch it and it's gonna be awesome. Interestingly, it's rated PG. And it's about nefarious aliens dressed as cowboys eating children. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But as you can tell, like, I haven't seen a fair number of these movies. But when you read a description of a movie like that, how can you not want to see it? Prehysteria, I have seen this one. I don't really remember anything about it. It came out in 1993, I think, as well. Yeah, 93, and it's like a dinosaur type thing. It actually says on here, anticipating the success of Jurassic Park, Prehysteria follows the misadventures of Jerry Taylor, a 12-year-old Elvis-loving kid, and his sister Monica, whose raisin farmer dad accidentally brings home a bundle of rare eggs unearthed in the rainforest, and of course, they're dinosaur eggs. Can we talk about the phrase raisin farmer? Is that a thing? I'm talking to Mike. He's over here. Is a raisin farmer a thing?
Yeah.
Aren't raisins just grapes?
Try it out.
What are you farming?
Grapes and then turn them into raisins.
That's not a thing.
That's
Is that a thing? So their entire farm's dedicated to raisins.
To grapes.
But then how is he a raisin farmer, not a grape farmer?
Because he probably doesn't sell grapes, he sells raisins.
If you know, you need to tell us, because I'm obsessed with this now. Do you think they'll go over the details in this movie of what raisin farming is?
Absolutely not.
Do you think I could write a strongly worded letter to the directors asking them to make a sequel in which they go over the particulars of raisin farming?
They're alive.
Fuck yeah, Prehysteria. And this is Blu-ray DVD combo, dual format. Yes, so I should tell you that every Friday night, Mike and I watch 80s and mostly 80s movies, right? Sometimes 90s movies. But we're kind of running low. We've been doing this for years now. And we're starting to run a little bit low on movies to watch. And so one of the reasons we started looking at all of these movies to get is that we need to start watching. We need like a new stash of movies to start watching on our Friday night movie adventures. Here's a sequel to a movie that we watched and loved on one of our a movie that Mike had seen before, but I never had. Woe is me. I know, it's horrible. Roadhouse 2. What? Which Mike didn't know existed. Are you excited about this?
I am.
Roadhouse 2 came out in 2006. MGM. Shane Tanner is in it, who is in That Thing You Do, Tom Hanks movie, which is a great movie. From drunken fistfights to all-out brawls, the Black Pelican is known for its rough and rowdy atmosphere. That sounds like Roadhouse. So, we'll see. Hopefully this will be really fun. What else? So we have some Arrow releases. If you're like a junkie for, like the Criterion Arrow kind of world. We got 2 of those. Let's do this one next. Bloody Birthday. The nightmare begins with the kids next door. And no, this is not a sequel or a prequel to the Jennifer Lopez movie, The Boy Next Door. This came out in 1980, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. The Bad Seed meets Halloween in this deliciously twisted early 80s slasher thriller from director Ed Hunt, starring a bona fide scream queen Laurie Lethen, who is in Return to Horror High and The Prey. So, this is just like an old school bloody ass, 1981, slasher movie, and this should be really fun because we really like slasher movies. I really like the Jason movies, and I think Mike's a fan of Friday the 13th as well. And what else have we watched? We watched Halloween, obviously. I went through a phase when summer after I graduated from college, I worked at a convenience store that was right next to a liquor store, and on the other side of it, there was a video store, and the video store had this thing where for I think for $7 you could get 5 movies for 7 days or something like that. So I would go and buy 40s at the liquor store after my shift, and then I would go rent movies, and I would go and with my friend drink 40s and watch movies. And I watched like all the Jason movies, the Freddy movies, like Silent Night, Deadly Night, like movies. What's the Jamie Lee Curtis's? Is it Prom? That Canadian movie she was in? Yeah. A lot of those movies like that. So, and I've actually never seen this one. So, and we were talking about slasher movies recently. I think with Logan, if you've seen Logan in our videos, he's like a big movie collector, and he was talking about watching like the 70s slasher movies like Black Christmas and stuff like that. So, that's really exciting. What do you think I should do next? There's only 2 left. Do you know what they are? You know what they are. Which one do you think? Give me some indication.
Do the similar one to this.
This one? Yeah, okay. Maniac, I warned you not to go out tonight. This is, I think, lenticular is how you describe this type of cover. I always thought it was just like a holographic kind of thing, but I learned the word lenticular recently because I think maybe, is it Plain Archive? One of those fancy labels does a lot of lenticular stuff. Frank Zito is a deeply disturbed man haunted by the traumas of unspeakable childhood abuse, and when these horrific memories begin to scream inside his mind, Frank prowls the seedy streets of New York City to stalk and slaughter innocent young women. So it's a slasher movie, directed by William Lustig, who directed Maniac Cop 2 and Vigilante, and featuring landmark gore effects from Tom Savini, who is really well known for doing like Dawn of the Dead, Friday the 13th. He's been in movies too, like he was in From Dusk Till Dawn. And like, what other movies has that guy been in? You know, he's in it too.
He's one of the bikers.
Okay. So if you're familiar with that, with like the world of horror and stuff like that, you'll definitely recognize him. But I've never seen this movie, and like I said, we've been talking a lot about slasher movies, and this came out in 1980. So, and Mike was telling me that this is kind of like a cult classic. You got any more?
It's supposed to be exceedingly violent and cruel.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And just like a very, very sick kind of a movie.
Okay.
So,
yay!
I heard a lot about it. Haven't had a chance to see it. I know they remade it with Elijah Wood.
What?
Yeah, and he plays the maniac.
What?
And this was recent, maybe 5 years ago or so.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
Wow. So we should watch this, and then we should watch the Elijah Wood one, and then we can do like a double reaction. A lot of these 80s movies too, if you're unfamiliar, we have an Instagram account called 80s Nerdgasm, and these are all going to show up on there too. Like we'll probably do some videos of like the artwork on the inside and stuff, some close-ups, and then we'll do some pictures, and then maybe we'll do like some little other fun tidbits throw up on the Instagram there. So the epic final piece to the puzzle, and this is a movie that I loved as a kid. Saw it in theaters. Had the VHS tape at one point. Much maligned, and I think unfairly so. Didn't we talk about this on a podcast? Yeah, so we have a podcast. It's called The Danger Zone. Not to plug ourselves too much, but I'll put a link in the description of this video to where you can go. I mean, it's on YouTube. But if you're the kind of person who wants to go and download the episodes and like have them on your phone or whatever so you can listen to them when you're offline, we're on iTunes, and then we're on SoundCloud. And I'm almost positive you can download from SoundCloud, and obviously you can download from iTunes. So we did an episode on movies that we thought unjustly got negative reviews, and one of them was Waterworld. So this is actually like a much touted edition of this film. It is 3 discs, and it has the theatrical cut, which is actually the only one I've ever seen, which is 135 minutes. And then I remember there being this whole thing when this movie came out about how it was way too long. And now that as an adult, now that I look at it, it's like, that's not very long, is it? Like, most Marvel movies aren't. But what I'm saying is, like, the reviews of the theatrical version were like, oh, this movie's too long. And it's like, well, fucking, like, aren't the Avengers movies like 2.5 hours?
Well, back then, anything over 2 hours was too long. They needed to fill certain time slots on bills and screenings. It's a little different now, but especially with the way reels were.
But like as a critic.
As a critic, yeah.
Why do you care? It's just stupid. Like, fucking The Godfather's 3 hours. Is that movie too? I get the point that, like, it's not about the runtime, it's about how the movie feels. But, like, that doesn't seem that long to me. So, anyway, that's the theatrical cut. That's on high def, 1080p. And there's a shitload of bonus features associated with that. Then we have everything in here is high def, by the way. This is a Blu-ray box set. And there's, like, a book in here. And so I got my first Arrow release within, like, the last year. I got it at Foreign Exchange Blu-ray, which is out in Culver City. We're in Los Angeles, if you didn't know. And we'll include a link to their web store, too, because they have all kinds of amazing stuff from all over the world. And so, like, imports from Hong Kong and from France and from Germany and Poland, like, all this awesome stuff. And I bought Milano Calibro 9. And I didn't know that. I knew a lot about Arrow on paper. But in experience, that edition is amazing. Like, the artwork is amazing. The liner notes are fantastic. Like, it's like a Criterion release. Like, it really is. But they're less expensive than Criterion releases, and I think there's less of this aura of. And I'm not bad mouthing Criterion. Like, I'm a Criterion junkie. Like, my in-laws get me Criterion gift certificates for Christmas every year. Like, I await the flash sale with bated breath. I have like hundreds of Criterion movies, so I'm not shitting on them. But I think. As a result of what Criterion does, they've developed almost like this cult around them. Whereas Arrow, I think, is just kind of like dum-dum in the corner doing their thing. And like people who are junkies for physical media, like Arrow is really highly esteemed. But for like the general, like random people who aren't movie collectors probably know what Criterion is, but maybe not Arrow. And like their editions are freaking amazing. So We'll put a link in their web store if you want to go buy. Well, obviously to this, because we're showing this off. We picked this up and are really excited about it, but also just like where you can check out their catalog and stuff. But anyway, the TV cut, 40 minutes longer than the theatrical, so 176 minutes. And then finally, there is what is called a Ulysses cut, which is an exclusive to this limited edition. That includes previously censored shots and dialogue that runs 2 minutes longer than the TV cut. So that's 178 minutes. And so I think we should do a marathon and just watch all of these in one day and then do a mega reaction video. What do you think?
Well, maybe not the TV and the Ulysses.
Oh, yeah.
It's only 2 more minutes.
No, we're doing the whole thing.
Oh, boy.
We're doing it all.
We gotta get some 40s.
We gotta get some 40s and we need a lot of Oreos. So if you guys are looking for ways to financially support us, if you could just send us Oreos. We can buy the 40s ourselves. Oreos, Skittles, what else do we need for movies? Popcorn? No, we should. I want popcorn. I'm gonna be greedy and I'm gonna say I want popcorn too. So we'll take any of those. You just send us a message and we'll give you our address. So I'm really, really excited about this because, like I said, I loved this movie in theaters. And, I mean, I was pretty young when it came out. But I had the VHS, too. I think I was 12 when this came out. But I had the VHS, too. And I was really excited about it. So there you go. So this is our mega Blu-ray haul. And like I said, we're starting a new show. It's called First Watch. Should be coming within the next few weeks or a month or so. So keep an eye out for that. Subscribe, and you will know when it's coming out, and you'll be able to be the first person who sees the first episode. And leave us some comments, like what do you think about these movies? What else should we watch? Honestly, because I'm like, with horror, Mike is a bigger horror fan than me, but I'm kind of like a surface level kind of guy. Like I see the movies that are big and that are well known, and I don't know like tons of uber obscure like B, C, D quality horror movies. So if we like slasher movies like this and Silent Night, Deadly Night, point us in the direction of some other stuff to see. If you're familiar with other work by the makers of Sheborg, please let us know so we can check that out. This has been Terrible Infant. My name is Will. Thank you for enduring this very long video. Even the cat is fed up with me. The cat is over here just making noise, trying to get me to shut up. So we'll see you next time.